Here we go. So today I'm going to show you guys what my favorite cleaning tools are for my makeup brushes. I found, let me pull this out real quick. This guy, this is a makeup cleaning pad, I guess, brush cleaning pad, matte, and it's as big as my face. Look at that. And I found this on Amazon. It was super cheap. I'm sure you could find it at like Sephora or Ulta or anywhere else that sells makeup, but I got mine off of Amazon for real cheap, and I absolutely love it for cleaning brushes. Before, I would just use my hand the old school way, and then I was going to show you the soap that I use to clean my brushes, and this is a Peppermint Pure Castile soap. They have different scents. I can't remember what other scents they had, and I don't know where I got this brand, but Target sells their own brand, I think. You could probably find it at Walmart, but I just got this big giant bottle. And what I did is, because this is so hard to maneuver sometimes because it's so big, I repurposed one of the Bath & Body Works bottles. I haven't even cleaned the sticky residue off of this, just so I can pump the soap out, which makes it a ton easier. So I just put this in here, and that way I can spritz right into the pad to clean my brushes. So again, the pad came from Amazon, and then this I think I just bought from like a drugstore like CVS or Walgreens to clean my brushes, but there's all different brands. This is Ology, I don't know, Ology, who knows? But I'm going to show you guys how I clean my brushes. So I fortunately have a sink that, let me see if I can tilt my phone down here. Can you guys see my sink? So I fortunately have a sink that curves in. So I leave this at a tilt just so that the nasty, germy water drains off of the brushes and goes right in the drain. So I always lay out a towel, and you'll notice like I roll the towel at the top. So it's folded in half, and I roll it at the top. All my brushes are, I kind of have a system because I'm a little OCD. Okay, you don't have to do this way if you're not OCD. But I flip them all where the brushes are upward, so I know I haven't washed them. You can see all the brushes are up. And then when I wash them to dry, I'll face them down at the end and dry them down, because you don't want to dry it up, because any water that gets down into your bristles will loosen up the bristles, and your brushes won't last very long. So always dry them downward. And that's why I roll the top of my top of my towel, so I can just set that and let it drain down. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's get started. So what I do is wet my pad here. Just wet that makeup pad, and then I'm gonna spray some of this right onto the pad, just everywhere. It's starting to drain off. But then what I'll do is I'll wet my brush. I may start with the little brushes here. Well, I'll go ahead and get this. So I'll wet my brushes. Some of these have two sides. And then I just start swirling. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that. For some of the smaller brushes, you want to use the bristles that are a little bit closer together. And I used this yesterday for, I think, bronzer to put on my eyes and my lid. Let me see if I can bring that camera up just a little bit closer. Face it down. Can you see that yucky water? Let's see how dirty this one is. See, there's that bronzer, that yucky brown. And you just swirl. So I'm using, again, these little dots to clean the smaller brushes. And then you just rinse them out. So I try not to waste water too much. So I clean as much as I can Look at how yucky that is. Did y'all see how yucky that was? Yeah, yucky that brush is. I mean, look how white I'm getting that brush. Super white. And then let's get this one. Okay. I think I saved this one. So this one's a little bit bigger of a brush, so I'm just gonna go on a bigger pad. Maybe the hearts. But look how yucky that is. Do you see that? That's brown. So gross, so gross. And I will say, because there are so many oils, I think, in our brushes, I have to clean my sink too right after I do my brushes, because it leaves some kind of oily film on it. Okay, so then I'll rinse. I'll rinse my brushes here. And you really should clean your brushes like once a week, if not more often. You can keep swirling into that water, or swirling onto the pad, just to make sure you got all the yucky brown off. And I'm going to add a little bit more soap here, because I want to make sure those are super clean for my face. You can see how the water is, or the soap is not as dirty. And then, so after I rinse, I just kind of flick off all the water, and then I lay it flat. Ooh, let's see that over there. Lay it, not flat, tilted downward. So again, just make sure you got all the gunk out of there. I'm gonna hit this guy a little bit more, get some soap, swirl. I mean, y'all, look at how white that brush is. Do you see? I use this crease brush all the time. Okay. And my water's usually not running this often or this much, but I'm talking too, so let me turn that off. Again, I'm gonna flick the water off. This one's an odd brush because it's got double sides, but I always do the bristles, the fluffy bristles down. So pat this dry a little bit on my towel, flick the bristle side, and lay it flat. Or not flat, tilted. Flat, not tilted. Or tilted, not flat. There you go. Okay, so on to some of the bigger stuff. Well, we'll just do one more brush here. And then I'll show you guys how to do, how I do my makeup sponges. So again, I'm gonna wet my brush, and I'm just gonna swirl. This is what I use a lot on my face for powder and some concealer. So that's really gross. Look at that. Can you guys see that? That's disgusting. Think about if you did not ever clean your brushes. Anyway, so see how clean that got it? I'm just gonna rinse that out. And then you can, oops. And I like to use warm water, guys. So I'm gonna spray a little bit more just to make sure I got everything off. The soap should be kind of white, you know, light colored, not have any of that dark residue in it. And then you just rinse it out. Okay, so makeup sponges. Makeup sponges are a little harder to wash, I feel like, but you can get them pretty clean. Let me rinse this guy out. Another tricky brush. And again, I'm just gonna flick the water off. I even like to swirl it a little bit on the towel just to get most of the water off. And then I'm gonna lay it flat, downward. I keep saying flat, it's not flat. Lay them tilted. So again, I rolled my towel. You can see this is a higher end. So I'm laying them tilted where the water drains off of the brushes down. Okay, so makeup sponges. So this is a little bit different to clean. So I like to get this super soaked with water, because that way it's less likely for the sponge to absorb everything. So when you use makeup brushes, you should use them wet. That's the point, because once they're wet, then they can't really soak up any of your product. So, sorry if you guys can only see one of my eyes. Okay, so what you want to do is take your brush, wet it, and then you just put your soap on there, and I kind of just, you know, swirl that soap in and squeeze it out. So you can see on my hand how gross. Ew, do you see my sink, all the makeup coming off of that? I'm gonna rinse real quick. Do that again. I didn't squeeze this time because I didn't want it soaked into the sponge too much. So again, I'm gonna hit the outside of that. Try to squeeze that to the tip out of my sponge. And look at that. Do you see how much cleaner that is? Still got a little work here. Let's rinse it out. And you'll notice on these sponges when they get wet, the beauty blenders, when they're filled with water, it's harder to squeeze. So I've got just a little bit more, it looks like, right there and here. So I'm just going to hit the surface here. And you can see it's starting to be more clear. The soap is a lot more clear. So I'm just going to rub, 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 and then rinse again. Do you see how easy that is? Okay, seriously, people, like I said, I never ever washed my makeup brushes because I had no idea. I remember I wore Clinique makeup, and I seriously thought it was a gimmick to buy the sponge or the brush cleaner, and so I was like, no way, I'm not gonna buy any brush cleaner, there's no point. But seriously, you need to wash your brushes because of all the grossness that's on your brushes. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you are just now tuning in, this is the soap that I used. It's Peppermint Pure Castile Soap, and I have the Ology brand, which I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, Ology brand, that I think was just from like a drugstore like CVS or Walgreens, but I know you can pick up any type of Castile soap at Walmart or Target or wherever else, like maybe even like Tom Thumb if that's where you shop. And then this cleaning pad right here was just off of Amazon, and they're not expensive at all. I do not remember how much, but I remember thinking that's pretty affordable. So I'm sure you can get them at Sephora and Ulta too, but I find like they're probably a little bit cheaper and easier and more convenient to order off of Amazon. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a wonderful Friday, you guys. I'm gonna have to start thinking about what I'm gonna do for next week. Have a wonderful day. Bye.